Welcome to the 11th standard zoology class, unit 3, chapter 5, digestion and absorption. What is the topic? Digestion and absorption. I am going to ask you one question. If you don't take breakfast in the morning, how do you feel by noon? You feel very tired. The food that we eat gives us the energy. It helps in our growth. It repairs our worn out and the damaged tissues. From where do we get this food? We obtain the food from the plants and animal sources. The food that we eat are macromolecules. It should be broken into the micromolecules to be absorbed by our cells. So for this reason, we need a digestive system. The plants are autotrophs. It prepares its own food. We depend upon the plants and animals for the food. The food that we eat, get it from the external environment and gives energy or provide energy to our internal environment, that is to our cells or else to our body through the circulatory system. It's clear? So this class we are going to learn about the process of digestion, the food that we eat, how it is converted, how it is broken down into the macromolecules, into the micromolecules, then how the food is absorbed and digested. Now we see about the digestive system. The process of digestive system, it includes first one, ingestion. First one is an ingestion. Then second one is a digestion. Then third one is an absorption. Third one is an absorption. Then fourth one is an assimilation. Fourth one is an assimilation. And fifth one is an egestion. Fifth one is an egestion. So what is the first one? First one is an ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Then what is ingestion? Ingestion means intake of food. Ingestion means what? Intake of food. Then digestion. The food that we eat or macromolecules, it should be broken down into the micromolecules. That process, it is known as what? Digestion. Then third one is an absorption. This digested food should be absorbed in the bloodstream. Should be absorbed in the bloodstream. That is known as what? Absorption. Then assimilation. This digested absorbed components should be absorbed or converted into the cellular components. That is known as what? Assimilation. The undigested food, that is known as what? Egestion. So what are the five processes? Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. So this digestive system, it includes the alimentary canal and the associated digestive glands. The alimentary canal is a continuous muscular digestive tract that begins with the anterior opening, the mouth, and ends with the opens out posteriorly through the opening, that is known as what? Anus. So the alimentary canal is a continuous muscular digestive tract that begins with an anterior opening, the mouth, and opens out posteriorly through the anus. Then this alimentary canal, it consists of mouth. Then mouth leads into the buccal cavity. Then buccal cavity leads into the pharynx. Then pharynx leads into the esophagus. Then esophagus into the stomach. Then stomach leads into the intestine. Then the stomach, intestine, rectum and anus. So the alimentary canal consists of mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus. The esophagus leads to the stomach, stomach into the intestine, rectum and anus. Then here, the mouth acts as a reception of the food. It receives the food and then it opens into the buccal cavity or the oral cavity. Then this mechanical digestion, there are two types of digestion. Mechanical digestion, it takes place in the buccal cavity. The mechanical digestion takes place in the buccal cavity and the food is digested with the help of teeth and tongue. That is, the food is chewed with the help of teeth and the tongue. Then this chemical digestion takes place with the help of the enzyme secreted by the salivary gland. The mechanical digestion takes place in the buccal cavity or the oral cavity. The teeth and the tongue helps in the chewing of the food. The chemical digestion is initiated by the salivary gland which secretes the enzymes. Where you can see this tooth, that is in the mouth. First one, tecodont. What is the first one? Tecodont. If the tooth are placed in the socket, what do you mean by socket? Cavity. That is here, if the tooth are placed in the socket or cavity in the jaw, then it is known as what? Tecodont. Then it is known as what? Tecodont. So what is a tecodont? If the tooth are placed in the socket or cavity in the jaw, then it is known as what? Tecodont. The next one is a diphyodont. Next one is a diphyodont. Di means what? Two. Di means what? Two. In the human being, there are two sets of teeth. One is a deciduous teeth, that is a milk teeth, that is a temporary milk teeth, which is replaced by the permanent teeth, There are two sets of tooth, that is in the young one, that is a deciduous milk teeth, temporary milk teeth or the deciduous teeth, which are replaced by the permanent teeth, that is known as what? Diphyodont. The next one is a heterodont. Next one is a hetero one. Then this hetero means what? Different. Hetero means what? Different. There are four different kinds of teeth. First one is a incisor, canine, premolar and molar. What are four different kinds of teeth? Incisor, canine, premolar and molar. So then it is known as what? Heterodont. Then it is known as what? Heterodont. So what is the first one? Tecodont. What is a tecodont? If the teeth are placed in the socket or cavity in the jaw, then it is known as what? Tecodont. Di means what? Two. There are two sets of teeth. The milk teeth are replaced by the permanent teeth, then it is known as what? Diphyodont. Then hetero means what? Different. There are four different kinds of teeth. What are they? Incisor, canine, premolar and molar. Now you write the dental formula. That is 2 incisor, 1 canine, then 2 premolar and 3 molar. That is in the upper jaw. Again in the lower jaw, 2 incisor, canine, premolar and molar into 2. Mineral salts like sodium, magnesium are deposited on the teeth and form a hard substance. That is known as what? Tartar or calculus. Tartar or calculus. This tartar or calculus, it is called as a plaque. It is called as a what? It is called as a plaque. It's a 2-mark question. The minerals like sodium and magnesium deposited on the teeth and forms a hard substance. Deposited on teeth and forms a hard substance. That is called as a tartar calculus. Is known as what? Plaque. So if the plaque is not removed regularly, it leads to the inflammation of the gums. That is known as what? Gingivitis. It is known as what? Gingivitis. It's a 2-mark question. Define gingivitis. What is a gingivitis? The inflammation of the gums. If the plaques are not removed regularly, it spread down the teeth and forms between the gap between the enamel and the jaw, and it forms it leads to the inflammation of the gums. That is known as what? Gingivitis. Then what are the symptoms of the gingivitis? First one, bad smell, then bleeding, then swelling of the gums. The tongue is a muscular organ. It is attached at the posterior end of the buccal cavity by the frenulum. It is attached at the posterior end of the buccal cavity by the frenulum, and it is free at the anterior end. See the picture here. So this is a front. It is free at the anterior end and it is attached to the floor of the buccal cavity by the frenulum. Then what are the functions of the tongue? It helps to speak. It helps to mixes the food well with the saliva. Then it helps to swallow the food. Then here on the surface of the tongue, you can see the papillary buds or the taste buds. It helps to recognize the taste of the food. Then next we learn about oral cavity. So first, What is the first one? The mouth leads into the buccal cavity or the oral cavity. Then this oral cavity leads into the pharynx. The oral cavity leads into the pharynx. So here this pharynx is a common passage. The pharynx is a common passage for food as well as for the air. Here the food from the buccal cavity enters into the esophagus. The food from the buccal cavity enters into the esophagus at the back of the pharynx through the wide opening that is called as a gullet. That is known as what? Gullet. In the at the esophagus there is a wide opening that is known as what? Gullet. And then this pharynx, when we swallow the food, the windpipe or the trachea, it is covered by the cartilaginous flap. It is covered by the cartilaginous flap that is known as what? Epiglottis. That is known as what? Epiglottis. So here this epiglottis prevents the entry of food. The epiglottis prevents the entry of food into the glottis. That is the opening of the trachea. So here when we swallow the food should not enter into the trachea or the windpipe. So it is closed by the epiglottis. The glottis is the opening of the trachea. It is closed by the cartilaginous flap that is called as a epiglottis. Then there are two masses of the lymphoid tissues are present at the sides of the pharynx. Next we learn about the esophagus. So this esophagus is a long, thin wall, and then it leads the food into the J-shaped stomach. That is, the esophagus conducts the food into the stomach. And when the esophagus opens into the stomach, it is guarded by the sphincter. What is a sphincter? Sphincter is nothing but the ring of smooth muscle. So the esophagus opens into the stomach. It is guarded by the sphincter that is known as what? Cardiac sphincter. That is known as what? Cardiac sphincter. Then this stomach is divided into three divisions. So the first one is a cardiac. Then second one is a fundic. And third one is a pylorus. So what are the three divisions of the stomach? First one is a cardiac. Second one is a fundic. Third one is a pylorus. So this pylorus, that is the end part of the stomach, opens into the duodenum. It opens into the duodenum. So this duodenum is guarded by the sphincter. It is guarded by the sphincter that is known as what? Pyloric sphincter. That is known as what? Pyloric sphincter. There are two sphincters are there. What are sphincters? Sphincters are nothing but the ring of smooth muscle. So where you can see the cardiac sphincter between the esophagus and the stomach. Where you can see the pyloric sphincter between the stomach and the duodenum. So when the cardiac sphincter is not contracted properly, when the cardiac sphincter does not contract properly, it allows the acid. It allows the acid again to flow back into the esophagus, which results in the heartburn. That is known as what? GERD. That is known as what? GERD. So what is a GERD? Gastro-esophagus reflux disorder. What is a GERD? Gastro-esophagus reflux disorder. That is, it allows the backward, it allows the acid and the partly digested food to flow back again into the esophagus. That is known as what? GERD. And then here, this pyloric sphincter allows the partially digested food to pass into the duodenum, to pass the food into the inner wall of the stomach has many folds. That is known as what? Gastric rugae, which unfolds to accommodate a large meal. The stomach has two sphincters. One is a cardiac sphincter and second one is a pyloric sphincter. This pyloric sphincter prevents regurgitation. What is a regurgitation? It prevents a backward flow. What is a regurgitation means what? Backward flow. That is, it will not allow the food. It will not allow the food to again to pass back into the stomach. So that is known as what? That is a function of the pyloric sphincter. Then next we learn about the intestine. So the intestine is a highly coiled and it has three divisions. So the first one is a U-shaped duodenum. The first one is a U-shaped duodenum, and then middle part is known as what? Jejunum. Middle part it is known as what? Jejunum. It is also coiled, and then the highly coiled ileum, and then the highly coiled part it is known as what? Ileum. So what are the three divisions of the stomach? Cardiac, fundus and pyloric. So what are the three divisions of the small intestine? Duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Duodenum, jejunum and ileum. So first we'll see about the duodenum. So this duodenum, it has a Brunner's gland. This duodenum has a Brunner's gland. The wall of the duodenum has a Brunner's gland. It's a 1 mark question. So this Brunner's gland, it secretes enzymes and mucus. The Brunner's gland, it secretes enzymes and mucus. Then this ileum is the longest part of the small intestine. 1 mark question. So which is the longest part of the small intestine? Ileum. This ileum has many finger-like projections. The ileum has many finger-like projections. This finger-like projections, it is known as what? Villi. The finger-like projections, it is known as what? Villi. It helps in the absorption of the digested food. So this villi has numerous microscopic projections. It has numerous microscopic projections. It is known as what? Microvilli. It is known as what? Microvilli, which increases the surface area. Which increases the surface area. And then along with the villi, the ileal mucosa, that is ileal mucosa, that is in the ileum, it secretes it contains goblet cells. It contains goblet cells. So this goblet cells is a 1 mark question. The goblet cells, it secretes mucus. The goblet cells, it secretes mucus. Along with the villi, the ileal mucosa, which contains goblet cells. This goblet cell secretes mucus, and also the lymphatic tissue, that is known as what? Peyer's patches. That is known as what? Peyer's patches, which produces the lymphocytes. Which produces the lymphocytes. The base of the villi. The base of the villi. So what is a villi? The ileum has numerous finger-like projections, that is called as a villi. So this villi acts as a absorbing unit. And then the space at the base of the villi, that is called as a crypts of lubricant. So it's a 2 mark question. What is a crypts of lubricant? The space at the base of the villi, that is called as a crypts of lubricant. The next we learn about the large intestine. We know that the stomach is divided into 3 regions. What are they? Cardiac, fundus and pyloric. The small intestine is divided into 3 regions. What are they? Duodenum, jejunum and ileum. In the same way, this large intestine, it consists of cecum, colon and rectum. It consists of cecum, colon and rectum. So what are the parts of the large intestine? Cecum, colon and rectum. So this cecum, it opens into the colon. The cecum, it opens into the colon, and then this colon, it has a finger-like projection. It has a finger-like projection. This finger-like projection, that is known as what? Vermiform appendix. It is known as what? Appendix. So this colon, it has a finger-like projection, that is known as what? Vermiform appendix. This vermiform appendix is larger in the herbivorous animals. So what is a herbivorous? Plant-eating animals. Example, cow, sheep, goat. So the plant-eating animal comes under the herbivorous. So this vermiform appendix is larger in the herbivorous animals and is concerned with the cellulose digestion with the help of the symbiotic bacteria. Then again this colon is divided into 4 parts. One is an ascending colon. See here, this part is a ascending colon, and here this is a transverse colon, ascending colon, transverse colon, and this is the descending colon. This is the descending colon, and the S-shaped sigmoid, and the S-shaped sigmoid colon. So what are the four parts of the colon? Ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and sigmoid colon. So this sigmoid colon, it opens into the rectum. The sigmoid colon, it opens into the rectum. So this rectum, it stores the fecus temporarily. The rectum stores the fecus temporarily, and it opens into the anus. So here, this anus is guarded by the anal sphincter muscles. It is guarded by the anal sphincter muscles. Then this sigmoid colon has a dilations. This sigmoid colon has a dilations. That is called as a astura. That is called as what? Astura. What is a astura? The sigmoid colon has a dilations. This is known as what? Astura. Then this anal, it is guarded by the anal sphincter muscles. Then this mucosa of the anal sphincter, that is the anal mucosa, it has several foldings. It contains arteries and veins. That is called as anal columns. That is known as what? Anal columns. This anal columns gets enlarged and causes the piles or hemorrhoids. It causes the piles or hemorrhoids. Is it clear? So what is the first one? What is the crypts of lubricant? The small intestine, the space at the base of the villi, that is known as what? Crypts of lubricant. The large intestine is divided into three parts: cecum, colon, and rectum. The cecum opens into the colon. This colon has four parts. What are they? Ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and sigmoid colon. This sigmoid colon has a dilations, that is called as a astura. Then a sigmoid colon opens into the rectum. The rectum stores a fecus temporarily, and it opens into the anus. So this anus is guarded by the anal sphincter muscles. The mucosa of the anus, it has several foldings which contains arteries and the veins, that is called as anal columns. These anal columns get enlarged and causes the piles or hemorrhoids. Next we learn about the histology of the gut. So logy means what? Study. Histo means what? Tissues. So here from the alimentary canal, to the rectum, it is formed of 4 layers. The first one is an serosa. Then second one is an muscularis. Third one is an submucosa, and the fourth one is an mucosa. So what is the first one? Serosa, muscularis, submucosa, and mucosa. So what are the 4 layers? Serosa, muscularis, submucosa, and mucosa. So first we see about the serosa. This serosa is the outermost layer, and it is formed of the thin squamous epithelium. It's a 1 mark question. The serosa is formed of a thin squamous epithelium with some connective tissues. So the serosa is a outermost layer, and it is formed of a thin squamous epithelium with some connective tissues. Then the second one is a muscularis. So this muscularis, it consists of smooth circular and the longitudinal muscles with parasympathetic nerves. It consists of with the parasympathetic nerves which controls the peristaltis. So what is a peristaltis? The rhythmic movement which allows the food to passes from the esophagus to the stomach. So that movement, it is known as what? Peristaltis. Then the third one is a submucosa. This submucosa, it consists of blood vessels, nerves, and then here it contains parasympathetic nerves. Which controls the secretions of the intestinal juice. It is also a 1 mark question. Then innermost layer is a mucosa which secretes the mucus. Is it clear? So the tissues which lines from the alimentary canal to the rectum, they are 4 in number. First one is an serosa, Second one is a muscularis. Third one is a submucosa. Fourth one is a mucosa. So here, this serosa, it is formed of a thin squamous epithelium. Then a muscularis, which it is formed of a smooth circular and the longitudinal muscles, which contains a parasympathetic nerves, which regulates or controls the peristaltis. It is also 1 mark question. Then a submucosa, it contains a blood vessels, nerves and the lymph vessels, and it contains a parasympathetic nerves, which controls the secretions of the intestinal juice. Then a mucosa is the innermost, which secretes the mucus. Next we will learn about the digestive glands. This digestive glands are exocrine glands. The digestive glands are exocrine glands. Then if it is an exocrine gland, it secretes enzymes. If it is exocrine gland, it secretes enzymes. So what is the difference between the exocrine gland and the endocrine gland? Exocrine gland means they have the vessel or duct to carry the secretions. It secretes enzymes. The endocrine glands, they don't have the vessel or duct to carry the secretions. The endocrine gland secretes the hormones. So the pancreas is the secretes both exocrine as well as the endocrine gland, because the pancreas secretes pancreatic juice as well as the hormones. Then next we will learn about the gastric gland. So the stomach, the wall of the stomach has a gastric gland, which secretes the gastric juice, that is the chief cells or peptic cells or zymogen cells. All these are 1 mark question. The chief cells or peptic cells or zymogen cells in the gastric gland, which secretes the gastric juice. So which secretes the gastric juice? The chief cells or peptic cells or zymogen cells, which secretes the gastric juice. Then the gallbladder cells, which secretes the mucus. All these are 1 mark question. The gallbladder cells, which secretes the mucus. Then oxantic cells or parietal cells. It is also 1 mark question. The oxantic cells are parietal cells, which secretes the HCl. Then the intrinsic factor, which is responsible for the absorption of vitamin B12. The intrinsic factor, which is responsible for the absorption of vitamin B12, that is called as a Caster's intrinsic factor. See again listen ma. So the stomach secretes the gastric juice, which is secreted in the gastric gland. The chief cells or peptic cells or zymogen cells in the gastric gland, which secretes the gastric juice. Then which secretes some mucus? The gallbladder cells, which secretes the mucus. Then oxantic cells or parietal cells. 1 mark question. The oxantic cells are parietal cell, which secretes the HCl. Then intrinsic factor, which is responsible for the absorption of vitamin B12. The intrinsic factor, which is responsible for the absorption of vitamin B12, that is called as a Caster intrinsic factor. First we'll see about the liver. So the liver is the largest digestive gland. In our body. This liver, it consists of 4 lobes. That is a major and the minor lobes. It has consists of major right and the left lobes and the minor 2 lobes. Then these lobes are attached with the diaphragm. So this diaphragm is nothing but the muscular sheet which separates the thorax and the abdomen. So what is a diaphragm? Diaphragm is a muscular sheet which separates the thorax and the abdomen. And then this liver, the liver secretes the bile juice. The liver secretes what? The liver secretes the bile juice. This excess of bile juice, it is stored in the gallbladder. The excess of bile juice, it is stored in the gallbladder. See here, this is a gallbladder, and then this gallbladder, it has a duct. That is called as a cystic duct. That is called as what? Cystic duct. Then the liver secretes what? Bile juice, and it has a hepatic duct. So the liver as a hepatic duct. This the cystic duct is present in the gallbladder. What is a gallbladder? The bile juice is stored in the gallbladder, and then this liver as a hepatic duct. This cystic duct and the hepatic duct joins to form as a common bile duct. It joins to form as a common bile duct. Then this common bile duct, it opens into the duodenum. It opens into the duodenum through the main pancreatic duct. Through the main pancreatic duct. Then it is known as what? Hepatopancreatic duct. It is known as what? Hepatopancreatic duct. So the gallbladder as a cystic duct, the liver as a hepatic duct, it joins to form as a common bile duct. The bile duct opens into the duodenum along with the main pancreatic duct, that is known as what? Hepatopancreatic duct. Then this liver, it is the largest gland in our body and it has many lobulus. Each liver has many lobulus. This hepatic lobulus is a function unit of the liver. It's a 1 mark question. The hepatic lobulus is a function unit of the liver and is covered by a sheet. And it is covered by a sheet that is called as a Glissen's capsule. That is known as what? Glissen's capsule. Now, this hepatopancreatic duct, it is opens into the duodenum. This hepatopancreatic duct, it is guarded by the sphincter of OD. It is guarded by the sphincter of OD. It's clear? So, the liver is the largest gland in our body and it has two major left and the right lobe and two minor lobes. It is attached with the lobes are attached with the diaphragm. Diaphragm is nothing but the muscular sheet which separates the thorax and the abdomen. And then this bile juice is stored in the gallbladder. The gallbladder as a cystic duct. The gallbladder as a cystic duct. The liver as a hepatic duct. Both join to form as a hepatic common bile duct. It is both joins to form as a common bile duct. This common bile duct, it opens into the duodenum along with the main pancreatic duct. Hence, it forms as a hepatopancreatic duct. The liver, the lobes of the liver is covered by a sheet that is known as what? Glissen's capsule. Then this hepatopancreatic duct is guarded by a sphincter that is known as what? Sphincter of OD. That is known as what? Sphincter of OD. So this liver has a great power of regeneration and it is replaced by the liver cells are replaced by every 3 to 4 weeks. The next we will learn about the pancreas. This pancreas is both exocrine as well as the endocrine gland. It is placed in the U-shaped duodenum. It is a yellow colored compound organ. It is yellow colored compound organ. This exocrine gland, it has two parts. One is an exocrine gland and second one is an endocrine gland. The exocrine gland secretes enzymes. The exocrine gland secretes enzyme. That is a pancreatic amylase, pancreatic trypsin, then a pancreatic lipase. Then this endocrine gland part, it has a group of cells. This group of cells, it is known as what? Islets of Langerhans. The group of cells in the pancreas, that is known as what? Islets of Langerhans. This Langerhans secretes the hormones, that is insulin and glucagon. It secretes insulin and glucagon. So the pancreas is both exocrine as well as the endocrine gland. The exocrine gland part secretes pancreatic juices which contains pancreatic amylase, pancreatic lipase, trypsin. Then the group of cells in the pancreas, that is known as what? Islets of Langerhans. This islets of Langerhans is an endocrine gland which secretes hormones, that is insulin and glucagon. Next we will learn about the functions of the liver. So what is the first function? It removes or destroys the aging and the defective blood cells, that is RBC cells. It removes the aging and the defective RBC cells. Then excess of glucose, it is stored in the form of glycogen. The excess of glucose, it is stored in the form of glycogen in the liver. Then it stores fat soluble vitamins and iron. It stores the fat soluble vitamins and iron. Then it helps in the synthesis of non-essential amino acid. It helps in the synthesis of non-essential amino acid and urea. It helps in the synthesis of non-essential amino acid and urea. So what is the first function? It removes the aging and the defective RBC cells. It excess of glucose, it is stored in the form of glycogen in the liver as well as in the muscles. Then it stores fat soluble vitamins and iron. It helps in the synthesis of non-essential amino acid and urea. The last one, it removes the toxic substances. It detoxifies the toxic substances. Toxic means what? Poisonous substance. We just summarize the topics what you have learned. So first one is digestion. What is digestion? The process of breakdown of the complex food substances into the simple ones, that is known as what? Digestion. Then the process of digestion involves ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Then next we'll learn about the alimentary canal. It starts from the mouth to the anus. The mouth opens into the buccal cavity, or otherwise it is known as what? Oral cavity, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. Then this stomach has it's a J-shaped organ and it has three parts: cardiac, fundus and pyloric. The opening of the esophagus into the stomach, it is guarded by the cardiac sphincter. It allows the backward flow of the food. That is, it helps in the, when it is not contracted properly, it allows the food this is known as what? Gastroesophageal reflux disorder. That is a GERD. When the cardiac sphincter does not contract properly, along with the acid, the food substance once again goes back to the esophagus. That disorder, it is known as what? Gastroesophageal reflux disorder. Then stomach, when the stomach is the last part of the stomach, that is a pylorus stomach. It opens into the duodenum. It is guarded by the pyloric sphincter. It allows the partially digested food into the duodenum. Then a small intestine has three parts. First one is a duodenum, U-shaped duodenum, jejunum and ileum. So the ileum has a finger-like projections, that is known as what? Villi. It acts as a absorbing unit. The base of the villi has a space, that is known as what? Crypts of lubricant. Then this large intestine, it has three parts. The cecum, colon and rectum. The cecum opens into the colon, and this colon has a vermiform appendix. It is larger in the herbivorous animals. This colon has four parts: ascending colon, transverse, descending and the sigmoid colon. The sigmoid colon opens into the rectum, where the feces is stored temporarily, and then it opens into the anus. So this anal column has many foldings. That is, it contains arteries and the veins. And it has enlarged. It results in the piles or hemorrhoids. Then histology of the gut. From the alimentary canal to the anus, it is guarded by, it is formed of four layers: serosa, submucosa, muscularis and mucosa. Serosa, muscularis, submucosa and the mucosa. Then digestive gland, salivary gland, three pairs. What is the daily secretion of the saliva? 1000 to 1500 ml. Parotid gland near the cheek. Then submaxillary and the submandibular in the lower jaw, and sublingual beneath the tongue. Then this salivary gland secretes salivary juice. Then liver is the largest digestive gland, and the liver secretes bile juice, and it is stored in the gallbladder. This gallbladder has a duct, that is known as what? Cystic duct. The hepatic duct and the cystic duct join to form as a common bile duct. The cystic duct and the hepatic duct joins to form as a common bile duct. It opens into the duodenum along with the pancreatic duct, and hence it forms as a hepatopancreatic duct. It is guarded by the sphincter of Oddi. The liver is covered by a sheath, that is known as what? Glissen's capsule. That is known as what? Glissen's capsule. And then this liver, pancreas is a elongated compound organ, and it is yellow color. It is both exocrine as well as the endocrine gland. The exocrine part, it secretes enzymes, that is amylase, pancreatic amylase, trypsin and lipase. Then endocrine part, that is secretes hormones. The group of cells in the pancreas, that is known as what? islets of Langerhans. This islets of Langerhans secretes a hormones which is insulin and glucagon. Then coming to the functions of the liver, it destroys the aging and the bone out RBC cells. It removes the toxin substance or poisonous substance in our body, and then it helps to store fat soluble vitamins and the iron, and then it aids in the production of non-essential amino acid and urea. The excess of glucose, it is stored in the form of glycogen. Thank you, children.